Okay, so if you have money sitting in a savings account, I want to have a conversation with you today. And no, I'm not about to tell you to empty your savings account and put all your money somewhere else. Absolutely not. What I want you to understand is that a savings account and an income producing asset serves very different purposes. And I think sometimes we lump all of our money together. We have money for emergencies, we have money for savings, money for investing, and money we want to grow. But we haven't actually given each dollar a specific amount. So today, I want to show you the difference between keeping money in a savings account and using money to participate in tokenized real estate. All right. Now, before we even look into the percentages and all those great things, I want to make sure that I mention that the content that I'm going to talk about, including any income or results shared, is example purposes only. It's not typical. We do not guarantee any specific income or success. Your results will vary based upon your skills, your experience, your effort, and your consistency. This content is for educational purposes only and not financial or business advice. All right. So let's talk about what is your money for? Like, because I don't think that every dollar that you have should be invested. Okay. If this is your emergency fund, that's a different conversation. If you are saving for something that you need in a few months, that's a different conversation. But if this is money that you've already earned and you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, what else could this money be doing for me? Now we're having a different conversation. And that's where learning about assets and the different investment opportunities becomes so very important. A savings account has its job, and I want to make that very clear. It gives you somewhere where you can keep cash that you may have access to, and maybe that's your emergency fund. Maybe that's your money for taxes. Maybe you are saving for a vacation, a car, or something for a house. And depending on the account, the bank, may pay you interest on that money. It's not much. It's just a little bit, but I'm gonna go over that. So your savings account absolutely has a place in a financial plan, but here's where my thinking started changing. So I began asking myself whether all of my extra money needed to be sitting in the savings account. Like what is the purpose? Now let's put like tokenized real estate on the other side. With estate, I'm purchasing what we call participation tokens. Those participation tokens are connected to real world assets and they give me the rights to participate in the revenue that's generated by those assets according to our terms. Now, I want to be very specific here. I do not own the property. Okay. I'm not buying fractional ownership of a house. I'm not becoming a landlord. I'm purchasing participation tokens. That's a very important distinction because I want you to understand what you're actually looking at before we ever start talking about, like potential returns. Okay. Now, this is probably the biggest takeaway from the entire video is that these aren't necessarily competitors. Okay. They just have different jobs. My savings is there because I need cash available for certain things in my life. But when I purchase participation tokens, I'm making a completely different decision with that money. So I'm saying I want this portion of my money connected to an asset with the potential to generate revenue. And because I'm pursuing a potential return, I'm also accepting risk that I don't have in the same way with the cash held in a secure or insured bank account. Okay. That's why I don't want you to make this decision based on pretty percentages on the screen. Understand the job of the money first. All right. Now, I have a nice graphic here that Anthony made, and I want to show this to you because this is where the conversation got really, really interesting. On the example that I have here, we're looking at a national average savings account, APY. Okay, that's the average payout a year, okay, of 61%. Now, on the other side, we have estate. Now, I'm showing the Venetian Villa, okay, which is 0.25%, 0.31. And the reason why I'm showing the Venetian Villa, because this is the newest and the lowest performing property that we have on the platform. I want you to see the difference, okay? 61% in your savings, and then you have the potential to take, or let's say you have 25,000 in your savings, you had a potential to take that, purchase assets, and make those purchases, and you can make between 25 to 31% daily, Monday through Friday. So this one is per year. The savings is per year, but this right here has the potential of a daily, Monday through Friday. Okay. Money works. This money works in two different ways. It's depending on how you look at it. This now the Venetian Villa, those returns are not guaranteed, okay, because property performances can change, and past performance doesn't tell us that we're going to have the same results, okay. But again, for educational purposes, I want you to see, and I'm not saying that savings accounts are totally bad. They have their place, is what I'm saying. However, I want you to look at if you have money in savings and you had it sitting there for how long, depending on how long you had it there, if you're not making but 0.61% a year, imagine what that same money could do if you purchase tokenized real estate. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's really all I'm saying. It's not to convince you or do anything. I just want you to see the numbers. Okay. Now here's the part that we can't skip because we're excited about potential income, right? We do have risk. So if you're comparing an investment to money sitting in a insured bank account, they're different risks. Okay. Both are risks, no matter what. Even banks are risky. You have an investment that can perform differently than expected. Returns can go up and down. So there may be, different rules around access to your money too in a savings account. So I would never look at this and say, well, this number is higher, therefore I should move all of my savings there. No, I would say, what money can I put over here, and purchase assets? Looking at the risk, my risk tolerance as an individual, what are the terms, and does it fit what I'm trying to accomplish? Now, this is really the question that changed how I started looking at my own money, right? What is money doing for me? I know how to earn money. I know how to save money. I wanted to become more intentional about learning how to take some of the money I earn and use it to build assets and potential income. Okay. That's one reason that tokenized real estate got my attention, why I'm here, why I talk about it. It gave me another asset class to learn about and to allow my money to make babies, is what I say. And this is probably one of my favorite parts is I like real estate, right? I don't have some secret desire to manage a bunch of rental properties. No, I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm trying to do with my life. I don't want tenants calling me. I don't want to deal with repairs. Like, I don't want another job disguised as passive income. Now, tokenized real estate gives us a way to participate in revenue connected to the real world asset without personally becoming the landlord. I would take that over and over again, over and over again. Now, if you are brand new, I want you to go get your pen and paper, because these are the questions I want you to ask. Don't let your first question be, girl, how much can I make? Okay. We gonna get the numbers. We're gonna tell you how much you're gonna make. But the first, I need you to understand what you are buying. Okay. You need to understand what a participation token is. What asset is connected to that participation token? Look at the numbers. Where does the revenue come from? What are the risks? Okay. How are the numbers calculated? How do withdrawals work? That right there, that's grown woman conversations. That's what we do. We don't just go into just asking how much I can make. Those are the questions, because we're not going to chase a percentage because someone put it on a graphic. But what we want to do is we want to look at this from a different set of eyes. So this is really where I want you to land after watching this video. You don't necessarily need to choose between the savings and the investing. You need clarity about what each portion of your money is supposed to do. So you have some money needs to protect your household. You have some that needs to be available. You have some that you may have for a long-term growth. Like we like to have in our home, we like to have cash flow. We like to have a cash flow so our stash can grow. So we like to have a stash, and we like to have cash flow that's growing. And some money may be money that you intentionally put into, income producing assets. So once I started thinking like that, my relationship with money started becoming much more, intentional. And for me personally, I'm building my tokenized real estate portfolio over time. So I'm learning, I'm purchasing, I'm watching how the different assets perform, I'm withdrawing some income. And there are times when I may choose to put money back to work and do that as well. So I'm not looking at this as something I'm trying for 30 days. I'm looking like how to build a portfolio that makes sense for the direction that I want my money to go. And if you're watching this and you think, okay, Sharita, this is interesting, but I don't know if I'm ready to put my money into anything. Good. You don't have to. Get educated first. Okay. This is why I created education around this on this channel. Learn what tokenization is, learn what a participation token is, understand the e-estate platform, look at the available information, ask your questions. Then you can decide for yourself whether this belongs, anywhere in your financial strategy. All right. So if you're ready to learn more, I want you to first go over to the link in my um, down below in the description. I'll put it in the comments as well. I want you to go watch a 3-minute overview. It's right there on my agent page at the bottom. Okay. Once you go there, then set up your free account. Get access to the platform. Go browse around. Go to the knowledge base. Learn, look at the documentation that we have. Go read some of those things. Not saying you have to become a scholar overnight, but do your due diligence. Okay. Continue your education. Purchase your tokenized real estate, and I'm here. I'm here to help you. Okay. So if this video it has you thinking different about money, just make sure you go ahead and get your e-estate account up. And I really want you to understand the opportunity that we have here with e-estate. We are really in a great place where we can allow our money to make money for us. And yeah, but again, there's nothing wrong with having a savings account. You just got to have an understanding on where you are putting your money. Okay. If you have any questions, put them down below. I'll be happy to answer your questions. I cannot wait to do another video around this. If this was helpful, go ahead and subscribe as well. And let me know in the comments if I can answer any questions. Okay. Bye for now.